So, yesterday we completed habit number one, which is to complete a clean body from within. Day before yesterday, you learned step one of habit one, which was to eat your dinner by 7 p.m. And yesterday, you learned step two of habit one, which was to start your morning with a juice. Before we continue forward, I just want to confirm if you can hear me clearly. Can you hear me clearly? Okay, some of you are saying yes, some of you are saying no. Let me try to adjust. Okay. Now, is it any better? Now, yes, yes, yes. Okay, bring the mic even closer to me. Yes, much better. All right, perfect. Thank you so much. All right. So, coming back to our subject matter, we learned two steps in habit number one. Two ways to detox your body, two ways to keep your body clean from within. One was to eat your dinner by 7 p.m. That was step one. And step two was to start your morning with a juice. So, quick recap of what exactly yesterday's session was about. First thing in yesterday's session, you learned why are juices so special. Two things, two reasons. They're highly detoxifying, highly cleansing. And second, they're micronutrient rich. So they supply your body, they flood your body with all the amazing nutrients that are much needed for our systems. Then you learned two categories of juices, detox juices and nourishing juices. And you learned exactly which juice is better for whom. Moving on, Himadri taught you 4 laws to remember while drinking juice: to squish and not gulp, to have juices only on empty stomach, to consume only fresh juices, no packaged juices, and to not throw the leftovers but try to make use of the leftovers. After that, Himadri spoke about an important principle of habit formation, which is habit stacking, wherein you identify a current habit that you do each day and stack your new habit on top. And the Facebook group yesterday was flooding, it was on fire with so many amazing photos that you had posted of holding your juice ingredients in one hand and your habit stacks in the other. So, thank you everyone who participated yesterday in the daily challenge. Now that you've learned enough about detoxification, cleansing, and keeping a clean body within, today we're going to move on to our next habit. So, introducing habit number 2 of the Ultimate Health Challenge. Eat food that is living, wholesome, and plant based. So, last 2 days were all about taking out the garbage from inside. But the next 3 days will be all about taking in. How do you take in the good stuff? Today, we will cover only the first word of this habit, the first pillar of our second habit, which is living. We will talk primarily about living foods today. So, I have a question for all of you. What do you think living food even means? And I don't want you to answer in just one word. I would like you to think about it for a moment and then tell me. Okay, I'm going to turn off the chat now. So many beautiful answers. Something which has life, something which gives us energy to work, something that grows on its own, something which is living within. Those are all beautiful answers, everyone. I just want to share with you one small point about the chat. So, some of you had been sending us emails about how your chat is showing disabled. So, I just want to clarify, everyone, for majority of the session, for 98% of the time in this session, we keep the chat box off. It's simply so that you are able to have a distraction free experience. However, in between, from time to time, we do open the chat only for a few seconds. We don't open it for too long because what we observed in our previous sessions, if we keep the chat open for too long, the Zoom app crashes for us. So, um, don't worry if it shows chat disabled for you. It's not a problem on your end. We keep the chat purposely disabled for most of the duration in the session. So there's nothing to worry about. All right, coming back to living foods. So those were lovely answers. It is food that has life within. So let us see how our day is structured. Moving on to our roadmap, first you will learn exactly what living food even means. What you shared with me on the chat was a good definition, but you will learn a detailed definition of living foods. Number two, you will learn 3 truths about packaged food. 3 truths about the opposite of living food, which no food company, no food manufacturer, no industry ever wants you to know. 3 truths that are hidden from you, that were never taught to you in your school, never taught to you in your university, not taught to you in your entire education system. Then you will learn about the 3 lists, the red, the green, and the yellow list. So, are all packaged foods equally bad? Is it that कुछ भी चीज जो पैकेट में आती है वो खराब है? Or are there some packaged foods that are worse than others? Are there some packaged foods that are okay to consume? They're not so bad. You will learn all about it. Then we will move on to the solution part of our session. In the second half, we'll discuss practical swaps, things you can change in your kitchen, in your home, in your life to reach your ultimate health. Exactly what can you do? And lastly, you will learn. Yesterday, you learned about the first law of habit formation, which was habit stacking. Today, you will learn about another amazing law of habit formation, which is redesigning your environment. How do you redesign your home such that ultimate health becomes truly possible and easy for you to achieve? Everyone, are you excited? Okay, let's begin. Let's move on to our first topic for today. What is living food really? So, living food is, simply put, is food that has life, food that has prana within it. And because it has life, it can create new life. To understand this better, let's take an example. Imagine that you take an apple slice and you bury it in the soil. After a few days, what will happen? A sapling will come out of it, right? But if you take some chips, chocolate, cookies, will a plant ever come out of it? No, because the apple has life force inside it, whereas the chips, chocolate, or biscuit does not have that life force within it. And if someone doesn't have a life force inside, it cannot even create new life. So, living foods are those foods, we are on the definition of living food right now. Living foods are those foods which are as close to their original, natural form as possible. Now, this includes fruits, fresh, juicy fruits. It includes veggies, so all kinds of vegetables, It includes grains, which means wheat, rice, dal, legumes, pulses, beans, millets. These are all living foods. It includes nuts and seeds. And it includes sprouts, all kinds of sprouts. In fact, sprouts are the highest living foods. It includes things like coconut. Basically, living food is that food which is given as it is to us by nature. There are three markers to know if something is living or dead. इन तीन चीजों को देख के आप झटपट से बता सकते हो कि वो लिविंग फूड है कि नहीं. First marker, if it comes straight from the farm to you, it is most likely a living food. But if it comes from a factory, कारखाने से आपके पास आता है, it is most likely not living. So, I would like you to think about what do you think are some of the things that are lying in your kitchen right now which have been created, which have been made, which have been processed highly in a factory, which have come from a factory and not from a farm. I would like you to name 3 things in the chat box and 3 things in one message, please. Okay. Thank you for answering, everyone. I'm going to close the chat box now. So, Shreyansh ji said, bhujia, achar, biscuits. Tushar ji said, sauces, namkeens, and biscuits. Dinesh ji said, biscuits, namkeens, and cornflakes. Absolutely. These are those things that are made in a factory. Let's move on to the second way to identify what is living food. Second way to identify living food eventually rots. मतलब समय के साथ साथ जो चीज जीवित होती है वो खराब हो जाती है. And first, when you think about rotting, you may think it's a bad thing, but no. Rotting of a food is great because only that which has life can rot. If you take a banana and you put it on your kitchen counter for a few days, what will happen? What will happen? After a few days, after 10 days, 11 days, it will become black from the outside. It will start to grow mold. It will rot, right? Because it has life inside it. And only something which has life can die. But on the other hand, if you take some biscuits and you keep them open on your kitchen counter without the wrapper, what will happen after 10, 12 days? Nothing much will happen to them. हाँ वो थोड़े सील जाएंगे, but they will not rot like a banana will. Simply because the banana has more life force and that biscuit does not. So first way was to see if it comes from a farm or a factory. Second way is to see if it rots or not. Third way to identify living foods. Living foods don't need any TV commercials. Have you ever seen a TV commercial for a broccoli? Have you ever seen a TV commercial for a coconut or a papaya? No. Because most of the time, in 99% cases, we don't have commercials for living foods. Why? Because Mother Nature doesn't need to advertise her abundance. On the other hand, what do you see TV commercials for? You see for different namkeens, you see for different drinks, you see for different sports drinks, chocolates, right? So you know that whatever you see TV commercials for, it's most probably processed food. It has been processed. It's coming from a factory. तो कुछ भी ऐसा मत खाओ जिसका टीवी पे ऐड आता हो. Simple way to remain healthy. So we've learned 3 parameters of how to identify living food. If these are living foods, what do you think are on the other hand, on the other side of the spectrum? What is it that's totally opposite of living food? Totally opposite to living food are foods which come in packets, bottles, tins, and cans. Those items that are highly processed. So come, let's move to the second part of our roadmap today. The 3 truths, the 3 eye-opening truths that no packaged food industry ever tells us. The first truth: what they are selling you is dead. These products that are lined up in the shelves of every supermarket and are sold to us in the name of food, they have no life energy remaining inside them. They have no life energy remaining inside them. To understand this better, let's take a verse from the Bhagavad Gita. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 17, verse 10, Lord Krishna says, Yatayamam gatarasam Uti paryushitam chayata Uchistamapi cha medhyam Bhojanam tamasa priyam. So in this, he gives the definition for tamasic food. What does tamasic mean? Food that brings lethargy inside us, that brings laziness inside us, that brings dullness and inertia inside us. So what does this verse translate to? Food cooked more than 3 hours before being eaten, which is tasteless, stale, putrid, decomposed, and unclean, is liked by people in the mode of ignorance. That's why in our traditional Indian culture, everything was served straight from the stove to the plate, right? In our ancient culture, when I would see my grandparents, my grandfather, my grandmother, everything they ate came straight from the kitchen. चूल्हे से सीधा उनके प्लेट पे आता था. And they ate nothing which was even a little stale or basi. And everything was prepared fresh for them. Within a few minutes, within a few hours of that item being cooked, they would eat it, they would consume it. I think maybe you can also relate to this with your grandparents or great grandparents. Of course, today, as we are moving, as we are modernizing, it's changing. But in the past, people used to follow the 3-hour rule to a certain extent. But don't worry. We won't tell you to start eating your food within 3 hours of cooking. We know it's not always practical and we'll suggest practical ways to do it. For now, that's not the core of our subject matter. Let's come back to our point. So, nowadays, what are people doing? We cook food, we make a big batch of sabzi, and we keep it in the fridge. We take out a little bit every day and we keep it back in the fridge again. Next day we take out a little bit, eat, keep it back in the fridge. Next day we take out a little bit, eat, we keep it back in the fridge. We're eating stale, basi food. If you're eating food that was cooked and stored long ago, and you're doing it day in and day out, day after day, regularly you are consuming this kind of food. My master says it's like inviting cancer into your body, eating this stale, basi food. Now, my question to you is that why only apply this rule of not eating stale food to only sabzi or roti or chapati or rice? What about all this? what about this? And what about this? Or this? Can you even imagine how long back these foods were cooked? Forget 3 hours. Forget 3 days. Forget 3 months. Many of them were cooked maybe years in advance and have been stored and kept in bottles, packets, and tins since then. Items like these are basically, it's right to term them as dead because the stuff inside them died years ago. So, the opposite of living foods, the full opposite, are dead foods. And this includes stuff that is packaged. So, it includes, I'm sorry to say, but your namkeen bhujia, your khatta meetha, your chai wale biscuits, टेस्ट भी हेल्थ भी वाली मैगी, कुछ मीठा हो जाए वाली डेयरी मिल्क, foods that are frozen, cooked and frozen. So I'm not here referring to frozen matar, frozen peas, or frozen vegetable. No, I'm referring to those things that are cooked in advance, like a frozen pizza or frozen nuggets, frozen spring rolls, which has become very common in the market these days. Foods which are tinned, bottled, Coke, Pepsi, डर के आगे जीत है वाली Mountain Dew, Taste the Thunder वाली Thumbs Up, or ultra processed. These are termed as dead foods. These are highly processed and often synthetic, which means there's nothing real about them. The problem that we are in today is that we are not eating food anymore. We are eating food like products. Do you think it's even right to term these things as food, which come lined up in grocery store shelves? No, right? It's not even right to give these items the term of food. Everyone, I want you to think, what is food? Food is something which is grown in the ground or in nature, which is grown in the soil or on a tree, and which we obtain from nature. But these things are far from food. In reality, they are nothing but products. They are products. They are not food. It's not right to call these things food. They are products made by a company who wants to make profit, who wants to make money, like any other business. And what do they do inside you? What do these products do inside you? Well, this was beautifully explained in one of my favorite books on health ever written. So I want to share with you. This is a book called The Essene Gospel of Peace. It carries the words of Lord Jesus that was spoken about 2000 years back, when the disciples of Jesus Christ used to come to him and ask him that, tell us, Master, what should we do to heal our bodies? What should we do to heal? So whatever he said has been captured in this book. Just give me one. The camera. We'll be back in just a few seconds. All right. So Harsh comes to help me. He's always here to the rescue. But can you see me clearly now? All right. Yes, he ran away. Because he doesn't want to come in the session right now. All right. So coming back, this book is a beautiful book which was spoken by Lord Jesus, and it talks about different aspects of health. And I was introduced to this book when I went to the Hippocrates Health Institute, and I had so many questions, and I used to keep asking my father that, what is what is Christianity's take on it? What would Lord Jesus Christ say about this? And when I read this book, I felt like I found so many answers that I had been seeking. So for me, this book really touched my heart, and I want to read out to you one passage from it. So this passage talks about dead foods. It says, kill neither men nor beasts, nor yet the food which goes into your mouth. For if you eat living food, the same will quicken you. But if you kill your food, the dead food will kill you also. For life comes only from life, and from death comes always death. For everything which kills your food kills your bodies also. And everything which kills your bodies kills your souls also. And your bodies become what your foods are, even as your spirits become what your thoughts are. Therefore, eat not anything which fire or frost or water has destroyed. For burned, frozen, and rotted food will burn, steam, and rot your body also. So, I feel this quote beautifully shares the um, just how harmful or how much of an impact really these dead foods have, not only on our bodies but also on our thoughts and our spirits. We think कि सिर्फ बॉडी खराब होगी, ऐसा नहीं. हमारे थॉट्स भी, जैसे जैसे हम डेड फूड खा रहे हैं, हमारे थॉट्स कैसे लिविंग रह सकते हैं डेड फूड खाते खाते. So we have learned the first truth about packaged food, which was that it is completely dead. Let's move on to the second truth, and that is it has more chemicals than you think. So we all know that dead foods have chemicals and preservatives. But what kind of chemicals? And how many chemicals really? Let's find out. Would you like to take a guess as to how, as to what percentage of real fruit juice is actually real fruit juice? Like what percentage of this packet contains actual juice of real fruits and vegetables? Take a guess. Okay. Alright. So many guesses. So according to the label, it has just 12% fruit concentrate. And you can see how they've shown 4.7% apple juice, 2.7% orange juice, 0.7 guava puree. My question to you is, if the mixed fruit concentrate is only 12%, then what is the remaining 88% of this packet? Sugar, acidity regulators, and natural color. By the way, there's nothing natural about this natural color. It's just a term they use in order for us to make us buy the product. Basically, the rest of the 88% is nothing but a concoction of water and chemicals. These chemicals might increase the shelf life of the product. They might help the product sustain on the grocery market shelves for longer. But it decreases the shelf life of your own body. It decreases the life expectancy of your own body. Okay, now take a wild guess. What percentage of tomato ketchup would be real tomatoes? So many guesses coming in. Close the chat box now. Tomato ketchup has only 24% real tomatoes. What is the remaining 76%? Sugar, acidity regulators, thickening agents, and preservatives. So I want to explain to you something very important. FSSAI. What is FSSAI? The Food Safety Association of India. Food Safety and Standard Association of India. It has a law that in any ingredient list that a food manufacturer, that a food company shares on a product, the first ingredient must be that which is used in the highest quantity. And after that, the ingredients must be noted on the label in descending order of usage, which means the ingredient used the most should be written first, ingredient used the least should be written last. So in descending order. So now I want you to share, I want you to think, what is written before tomato paste in this label? Sugar. Even before tomato paste comes sugar. Think about it, everyone. This bottle is more sugar than it is tomato paste. We are never taught how to read food ingredient label, and food manufacturers take advantage of us not knowing it. So they don't tell you what percentage, in brackets, they don't tell you what percentage is sugar. But you can now identify for your own self. And these facts, they never tell you in any TV commercial. No TV ad will ever tell you what has really gone inside the product. They'll show you actors and actresses drinking it, hoping to entice you. Oh, and by the way, what do you think? Do these actors and actresses, do they themselves consume these products that they promote? No. They themselves don't eat or drink what they promote. On these ads, they show some crunch, they show unrealistic product shots. They show actors and actresses who we aspire in the hopes of us buying the product. But, my dearest Sattvic family, please don't be fooled. If a food industry ever has to make an honest ad, जिसमें कोई झूठ ना हो, an honest ad of the product, what do you think they'll show? Would you like to see an honest ad? अगर सचमुच का ad बनाना हो, okay. So here comes an honest ad of a cold drink. Come, let's watch.
Hello. In this video, we'll make a refreshing and chilling cold drink in just 5 minutes. We'll take a beaker with some solution and add 1, 2, 3, 4, and 9.
formaldehyde, the same chemical in which biology lab experiments are kept.
The sweetness is perfect, but the color looks dull. Let's add 4-methyl mimidazole. Okay,
It looks so tempting. Let me try. Add some fish juice.
taste. Carbonate. And it's ready. A soothing coolant in the summer heat. Our one and only diet.
So, who do you think the scientist was? Well, I think you know for yourself. Yes, it was our dear, our very own dearest Himadri. So, did you understand what the honest ad was trying to communicate? Were you all able to grasp the essence of it? Yes. Simply that so many chemicals, so many preservatives, so many nasty ingredients are added to it, which we are never told about in a real ad. A real ad shows this unrealistic image of the product. But after today, you, my dear friend, will not be fooled. Let us move on to, so we've covered the second truth, which was that packaged food has more chemicals than you think. Let us move on to the third truth of packaged food, the last one. So we understand, everyone, that these things are difficult to quit, right? We understand that your taste buds get addicted to the taste of these products. We understand that once you pick up that packet of chips, it's difficult to eat just one. Once you pick up that chocolate, it's difficult not to finish the whole bar. I have gone through it myself. But remember, it's not your fault. It's not your fault that you can't stop yourself. It's not your fault that you crave another bite and another and then another. Because the truth is, the third and the final truth, what they are selling you is engineered for addiction. That's the third truth no food company wants us to know. They do million-dollar researches, just to get that perfect addictive taste, that perfect crunch, that perfect aftertaste. These companies try very hard to get you hooked onto their product. When they're making any product, they just have one motive. How can they get you addicted to it? And to get you addicted to their product, they add three things. Apart from the chemicals and the preservatives and all of that, they use three more things in extremely high amounts. Do you know what they are? Yes, three things: salt, sugar, and fat. I want you to listen carefully now. When you eat a bowl of cucumbers, by the 25th bite, what happens? You feel full. You feel bored of eating it, right? And you feel like putting it aside. But when you eat the 25th bite of a chip ka packet, then what happens? Do you feel bored? No. You feel like eating more and more and more. You feel like opening up another packet, right? Why? Because it's loaded with salt, sugar, and fat. High amounts of salt, sugar, and fat in anything coming back to it for more and more and more. And one of the brands so even made it their tagline. No one can eat just one. So when we buy a packet, we think it's very cheap, right? How much does it cost? The packet may say that it costs only rupees 10. But the real cost is much higher. The real cost, my friends, is much higher. Because with every purchase, these companies handcuff you. आपको हथकड़ियों में बांध देती हैं ये companies हर purchase के साथ. We get chained by these companies. Chained to come again, buy again. Come again, buy again. Come again, buy again. And we got in this never-ending cycle. Now, do any of you ever wonder, but why is no one stopping this? If these packed foods are really so addictive and filled with chemicals and preservatives, how is it that they're even allowed? How is it that they're even allowed to sell? Why is no one stopping them? Do you know? Now, to answer your question, do you know? Once upon a time, about 90 years ago, doctors in America used to promote cigarettes. How many of you knew this? That doctors in America used to promote cigarettes. Yeah, it's true. 90 years ago. You can check it for yourself, see news articles. Big articles used to be published in newspapers of doctors actually prescribing cigarettes to people. Smoke a fresh cigarette, the title used to say. More doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette. Camels was a cigarette brand. But now what do you know? That cigarettes cause lung cancer, right? Same way, today, all this packaged food is categorized as safe. It's considered normal. All my life, I thought it was normal to start my day with Oreos and Bhujia and ketchup and Maggi. I used to have it every day of my life. How many of you, my dear friends, have normalized packaged food in your home and in your life? So many of us. But 90 years from now, maybe someone raises their voice and says, it's not normal. It's not normal to have such kind of dead rubbish in the name of food. But why do you want to wait for that time? Why should we wait for the government to change laws and regulations? From today, the day you get up from your chair after listening to this lesson, you have two choices, two paths. First, you wait for the system to change. You wait for the government to fix things. You wait for another research which proves that these products are cancerous for your body. Or, number two, you take self-responsibility. आप अपनी खुद की सेहत की जिम्मेदारी अपने हाथ में लो. You take 100% self-responsibility of what you're putting inside your system. The choice is yours. Which path do you take? My dearest Sanskrit family. The second or the first? The choice is yours. The choice is fully in your hands. Alright, back to our roadmap, everyone. First, we learned what living food is. Then we learned 3 truths about packaged food that no food industry wants you to know. And now, we will move on to our next topic for today. Let's take a quick stretch break. Just a 1 minute stretch break because there's so much that we have learned. stretch your shoulders, stretch your back. Shake your hands, shake your arms. We will move on to the third part of today's podcast, and that is the red, yellow, and green list. Are all processed foods equally bad? I want to know your view. ऐसा होता है क्या कि हर packaged food उतना ही खराब है? Yes, all are bad. No, not all are bad. I'm ending the poll and sharing the results. So 44% of you said yes, all are bad. 56% of you said no, not all are bad. Okay. So the truth is, the good news is, not all processed foods are bad. Yay! So there are three lists that any food item can fit into: the red list, the yellow list, or the green list. First, this is the red list. It contains all those processed items that have nasty ingredients and are highly processed. My suggestion is that you never consume them. Nasty ingredients, highly processed, never consume. That's red list. Second is the yellow list. Now, foods that fall in the yellow list are still coming in packets, but they have clean ingredients. They are minimally processed, which means there's not too much that has been done to them in the packet. They are still, even though they are coming in a packet, they are still close to their natural form. Third is the green list. These are ingredients themselves. These are not processed at all, and you should consume these abundantly. Items falling in the green list may be coming in packets, but they are ingredients themselves. They are not processed at all. Example, a brown rice coming in a packet, or pulses, koi dal jo ek carton mein aati hai, those fall in the green list. Now come, let's take a few examples to understand this better. I know it's a bit confusing right now, but with a few examples you will know. So what do you think about this? Which list would this belong to? Sandwich cookies with all these ingredients. Yes, the red list. What do you think about this? A box of dates. The only ingredient inside this is dates. The green list. Remember what I said. If it is not processed at all, if it is an ingredient itself, box mein to aa raha hai, packet mein to aa raha hai, but it's an ingredient itself, it falls in the green list. What about this? Nut and date bar. Now please read carefully. The ingredients in this are cashews, apricots, dates, figs, almonds, and a dash of orange oil and a pinch of cinnamon. So all ingredients are clean ingredients, but it is coming in a packet. What list? Ingredients are all clean ingredients. Yes, the yellow list. Because all ingredients are clean ingredients. What about saltiness crackers with all of these ingredients? The red list. Yes, very easy. What about peanut butter, which reads only... Okay, can you all hear me and see me clearly? Yeah? Okay. What about peanut butter, which has only two ingredients, peanuts and rock salt? Which list? This is the yellow list because it has two ingredients. Both are clean ingredients, right? These are ingredients you can pronounce. These are ingredients you know. So this falls in the yellow list. But what about this peanut butter? The peanut butter is the same. The item is the same. Yes, this one has corn flour, sugar, dextrose, vegetable oil, thiamine, monotriate. I don't even know how to pronounce these, but this falls in the red list. If you can't see the screen for any reason, everyone, please know it's a problem at your end because you should try from another browser. Next one, what about this? A box of cashews And ingredients say cashews, chili powder, oregano, rock salt, jaggery, curry leaves, carom seeds, chaat masala, gram flour. The yellow list. Because ingredients are all clean ingredients, right? Ingredients, no chemicals were there in the packet. What about this bhujia? It has Bengal gram flour, it has spices and condiments, amchur powder, fennel powder, red chili powder, black pepper powder, isopatida, acidity regulator, maltodextrin, identical flavors. Okay. Initially it sounded good, but then it turned nasty. The red list. Yes. What about this? Rava idli ready mix. You can read the ingredients for yourself. It has semolina, it has rising agent, sodium bicarbonate, anti-aging, silica. Mm, it seems like you're a little confused. This is a red list ingredient, a red list item. Because if you see carefully, it has initially it seems like everything is okay. But as you go down the ingredient list, it has things like anti-caking agent, silica, and sodium bicarbonate. These are not at all natural. These are not clean ingredients. What about this box of cookies? It has buckwheat, organic sunflower seeds, organic raisin, coconut powder, organic honey, almond, dehydrated apple, rice bran oil, cinnamon, and vanilla. Yes, you got it right now. It's the yellow list. What about, okay, that's all. So, okay, now let's calm the chat box down. I know it's a bit distracting when there's so many messages in the chat box. Let's close it. All right. So, take a deep breath, everyone. Come back to the session and to receiving knowledge once again. There are very few brands in the market today who make truly clean products. But to check if a product is clean or not, you have to study its ingredient list. If there is an ingredient you can't pronounce, most likely that product belongs to the red list. If it has a preservative or anything synthetic, most likely it belongs to the red list. If it has all those ingredients which come straight from nature, it belongs to the yellow list. And it's okay to consume it once in a while. It's okay to consume it sometimes. And in the green list, you have things like nuts, which may be coming in a packet or a box, but they're completely okay to consume. I hope that gives you a little clarity. Now, I know some of you may be having questions, but what about my chivra? What about this? What about that? What does this fall in? Which list does this fall into? So what we are sharing with you is just for you to empower you. We can't give you a full list A to Z of all the products out there. No, that is not our job, not what Sattvic Movement is here for. We are here to give you the tools so you can become the best judge yourself. If you have a question, I suggest you post it on the Facebook group and just see how many people comment on it, and hopefully you will be able to get clarity. Our intention is to empower you so you can make decisions on your own from now. So you don't need us, so you don't have to keep coming back to us for everything. That's not our intention. One thing I must warn you, sometimes you know what food companies do? They hide the ingredient list in very, very small fonts at some corner of the pack. While on the front, they add these supermodel photos, unrealistic product shots, cream dipping from a biscuit. So don't get fooled by such marketing tactics. Look for the ingredient list no matter how small and read it before you buy any product. All right, everyone, that completes another section of our knowledge, the red, green, and the yellow list. If it's still a bit confusing for you, don't worry. Things you are confused about, post them on the Facebook group. If it's clear for you, wonderful. Are you all ready for a spontaneous challenge? A quick spontaneous challenge before we move on to our next. So yesterday I challenged you to dance in between the session. Today I'm going to give you another challenge. And it won't be dancing. Alright? Are you ready? Okay. So here it goes. It's time to raid your kitchen. Right now, I don't care where you are, in your home, wherever you are. If there's a kitchen around you, go fetch 5 products from your kitchen right now. Fetch any 5 products, doesn't matter what it is. just fetch and come back here. Don't think what list it belongs to. Just come back. Okay. I'm also going to be doing this activity with you. We have 1.5 minutes. Seconds left. So I want to show you what I got from my kitchen. So firstly, I got this peanut butter, and in this was lying in the fridge. This has just 2 ingredients. It has it has 3 ingredients: peanut butter, jaggery, and rock salt. That's all. No preservatives, no chemicals, nothing else. So this peanut butter belongs to the yellow list. Then I found this packet of sesame seeds. The only ingredient inside this is sesame seeds. So which list does this belong to? The green list. Then I found this box of dates. We discussed this already. This belongs to the green list. Then I found this herbal tea. It's a Tulsi Moringa tea, herbal tea. And the only 3 ingredients it has: dried Tulsi, Moringa, and stevia leaves. Which list would this go in? The yellow list. Then I found lastly this half eaten packet. I didn't eat, I promise you. Spiced okra chips. Now this has okra, which is ladyfinger, spices, condiments, and rice bran oil. Which list would this belong to? The yellow list. So these are all the ingredients. I was trying to search for these products to show you, and I couldn't find a single red list ingredient in my kitchen. But it's taken me a lot of time to get to this point, and of course, it's a bit challenging with the family, but don't worry. Now we're going to move on to the practical swaps, which I would like to invite Himadri for, and she's going to share with you exactly how to make this switch possible.
Hello everyone, I'm just doing some settings. Can you all hear me and see me clearly? Namaste to each and every one of you. Okay, superb. So a lot of mind blowing facts you're getting to know in this session of living foods and dead foods. Some of the facts that the first time I got to know about this, I was like in utter shock. What is happening around me was the only thought that was going in my mind. So I want to ask all of you that somewhere in the corner I was reading the messages in the chat. Somebody was saying that all of this is okay, but what about my tongue? Do you just want to get an idea? Do you get this feel that oh my God, I'll have to leave all of my favorite foods now with a very heavy heart? If you get it, you can type a yes, otherwise no. Some of you are saying no, but most of you are saying yes. I'll close the chat box. Thank you all for your responses. So don't worry at all. Like 90% of you said yes. The first thought that we get when we hear about all of this is, oh my god, up so I can't eat anything. I know so much of reality behind those packets and everything. But my dear friends, you do not need to worry a bit. At Sattvic movement, we don't believe in giving up. You don't have to quit anything. You just have to make the right switch. This lifestyle, this path is a lifestyle of abundance and not restraint and deprivation and controlling your cravings and all of that. You just have to make the right switches and your life will be just the same and even happier than what it was before. So let's begin with our practical swaps. We're on this stage of our roadmap. I'll share my screen here. Okay, so let's move to the first swap, and that is of namkeen. How many of you are hardcore namkeen lovers here who have their can't spend a day without namkeen? Oh my god, so many of you. Some of you are also saying, no, I'm not. Okay, the sweets are coming next. All right. So thank you for your responses again. I remember like in around 3-4 years back, whenever I used to travel, I used to make sure that one suitcase is of my clothes and all the necessary things, and one whole thela, one whole packet used to be filled with khatta meetha, tanatan, and that gathia, besan wala gathia, and all of those namkeens. And in my childhood, I used to come back from school, straight away into the kitchen, take a chapati, put some bhujia in between, roll it, and then gulp it and have it. That used to be my lunch. So namkeens are like truly addictive in nature. That's their nature. That's how these companies have formed them. So a couple of switches that have helped me, that have helped us to fulfill these cravings, I want to share them with you. The first one is roasted makhana. These are lotus seeds, and I'm sure all of you would have tasted it. Very, very easily available in the market. They're just spiced with some basic spices that are available at house. Then the second alternative is homemade popcorn. So one is that you purchase the makai ke dane, the corn seeds from the market, and you pop them at your house in your kitchen. That is the case that we're talking about. We're not talking about the popcorn that comes in packet with butter and cheese and some spices. They are already processed, so not about them. Some homemade popcorns we can make, and then there are roasted nuts. So nuts are roasted and some spices are put over them. They also form a great alternative for namkeen. So what we have to understand here is, whenever we get that namkeen craving within us, we're not craving for a particular namkeen or the packaged namkeen. Our body, our minds are craving for that crunch that we feel when we take in namkeen, that flavor, that namkeen flavor. And by any chance, by all hidden trial, if you can fulfill that taste through wholesome natural ingredients, then you won't miss the regular namkeen. So these are just 3 alternatives that we have shown on the screen, but believe me, you can create 100 alternatives from what's available at your house and your kitchen. Just wear your creative hats and experiment and switch to better alternatives. Then next up, the switch is for chocolates. Oh my god, these are processed, we know this now, but no doubt they're tasty and they are very, very difficult to control for some of us. Those who said that they don't crave for namkeen, I'm sure they would have a sweet tooth and they may like chocolates. But the reality is that we know very, very clearly that it's lathered with chemicals, very highly processed and whatnot. But again, we don't need to leave this taste here. What if we could get the same taste by natural ingredients? Sounds unbelievable. I know, I completely agree. I was on the same page, but until I tried this special ingredient, one magic ingredient called cacao powder, this has that chocolate-like flavor to whichever recipe you can add. You can get that chocolate flavor very easily. So you can make so many delicious chocolate flavored recipes out of it. one of them, and my favorite, is chocolate smoothie bowl. I am just expecting that many of you would have tried it. I want to know from those of you who have tried it. Just write one word that would describe these chocolate smoothie bowls in your chat box. How is it for you? For me, I don't have words for it. It's delicious. It's heavenly. It's awesome. Happiness, love, pure love. Says Nisha ji. True. And many of you haven't tasted it also. So don't worry. You can get this ingredient. It's natural and not processed. And you can get this flavor at your house. Then other alternatives are chocolate nutties. So these are simple nuts which are roasted first and then just in chocolate sauce, homemade chocolate sauce made of cacao powder. They can be roasted and amazing chocolate nutties get ready. And homemade choconut bars are another option. Then we have biscuits. Biscuits ka kya karenge? What do you think we can replace this crunch of biscuits with? Any ideas? Any guesses?
নিচে ছুঁয়েছিলাম নিচে না গাড়ি আসে নাই
Coconut,
যদি ওই নিচে হবো তো
homemade cookies,
আমার ব্যাগটা ছুঁয়ে
akra,
হ্যাঁ বাইকে
many options coming in. I'll just close the chat box so that I can read. Coconut chicky, homemade chicky is a great idea. Many amazing alternatives you all are sharing in the chat box. Some of them which I would like to share are some homemade cookies. So if you have access to an oven, you can try many different varieties of cookies. Then there is coconut slices. So these are simply chopped coconut. जो गिरी होता है coconut का, we can chop it and keep it. So my father, every day he is a big biscuit fan, and he takes a box in which he puts coconut giri to his office. And whenever he feels like getting that crunch, getting that feeling of a biscuit, or it's just a very wonderful snack. So coconut slices are one option. Fruits are another great option. So all of these alternatives you can use in place of biscuits. Next up are alternatives for aerated drinks, packaged bottles and sodas. We can replace it with fresh homemade juices, coconut water if we feel like. I understand that it doesn't feel like a direct replacement, the feeling that we get after aerated drinks and cold drinks and fresh juices. But believe me, now that you know the truth about these drinks, you know the reality what goes within these bottles, that craving of drinking something, and when you switch to fresh juices, or for that matter maybe nimbu pani or shikanji that we can make at home, all of these form great alternatives to the drinks that we get from the market. So these all things you can try. Then we have packaged sauces and dressings and mayonnaise. We can replace them with some homemade dips, some homemade mayo, some homemade cheese, which we can enjoy with nachos, with salads, with many different things. The secret ingredient of all of these is soaked cashews. So cashews give a very creamy texture. So when we use cashews as a base, then it really gets that creaminess and that taste of a dip. So you can all try this. Okay, so these were the alternatives. But do you get a feeling like this? That all of this is okay, that masala makhana and cookies and drinks and biscuits, all of these sound good, they sound great. But how will I make this? Well, we have a surprise for you here. And our lovely team has developed some amazing substitute recipes just for you. This is exclusively for the members of the Ultimate Health Challenge. These recipes are not posted in our food books. They are not on our YouTube channel, and they are exclusively developed only and only for you. Isn't that amazing? One more step that can be clear in our path. Yes, so this booklet has substitutes for drinks, for namkeens, for packaged sauce, everything. I would like to show you all, give you all a glimpse of this booklet. So here it is. So these are the snack replacement recipes exclusively for our UHC members. There is chocolate barfi. There are chocolate nutties that I was talking about, the exact recipe that will give you that crunch and that sweet taste. Chocolate smoothie bowl, then khatta meetha chivda, the craving for that namkeen, khatta meetha namkeen, which is our favorite. Masala makhana, chia bajra cookies and almond biscottis. This recipe you should try, definitely try. It's one of my favorite cookie recipes. Then there is Maza Cooler, all for kids. Kids would love it if you have kids at your home. Then there is chocolate milkshake, raw mango mojito, and alternatives for cheese, cashew cheese, for mayonnaise, and for homemade ketchup. So all of this will be uploaded on our website, theultimatehealthchallenge.org, and you can access this booklet from there. You can simply go to the resource pool section, and this booklet you can download right after the session. All right. But even after we know the recipes, even after we know everything, there's one very real and very practical problem that we have. How many of you are thinking that all of these alternatives, all of these substitutes are superb, they're great. But when that craving hits at 1 a.m. in the night, oh my God, all the motivation goes for a toss. We forget that it's dead and it has chemicals, everything, and we just grab that chocolate, grab that packet and eat it. Can you all relate to this? Do you think that it happens to you? To me, it really does happen very much. Yes, completely. Okay, so now I would like to share some strategies through which you can actually take control of your cravings. This gets us to the last part of our knowledge session and the most, that part that you can really apply to your life. So please open your journals and write this down. Motivation is overrated. Most of us rely on motivation. When we feel motivated to eat more living foods, we think that motivation is that key factor that is going to push us ahead. But what I'm sharing is that environment, it is the environment that matters more. You choose certain foods and leave others not because of what they are, but because of where they are. Where the food is placed will determine whether you'll end up eating it or you will end up leaving it. A very quick situation test for all of you. Just imagine that you walk in your dining space and you see a packet of biscuits on the counter. Will you pick the packet up and start eating it? You just see it right in front of you. Definitely, yes. Even if you had not been thinking about it beforehand, even if you were not hungry, even if you were absolutely full, you will simply grab that packet and eat it. My mother, there was a festival at our place very recently, and she got a packet of biscuits and she kept it in the first corner of her house, and first cabinet of the kitchen. And whenever I used to enter the kitchen, I used to open that shelf and look at that biscuit packet. Once I controlled, twice I controlled, thrice I controlled, but for the fourth time I just couldn't control. All of this I knew. I knew that all of this knowledge was known to me. I knew that it was dead. I knew everything. But because it was present in my environment, it was appearing again and again and again. Another scenario. You go to your kitchen for a snack, open the fridge, and you see a sight like this. There is Nutella kept in front of you, there is Coke kept, there is ice cream kept. Chances are that you will straight away grab a spoon, you will get some Nutella, you will get some ice cream and you will start eating it. There's a bird in my balcony, so you may get a little bit of a background effect with that, but try to focus on what I'm saying. There are complete chances that you will grab something and you will eat. Doesn't matter how much of self-control you have, doesn't matter how much of willpower you have. The way your space is designed matters much, much more than your self-control, your motivation or anything else. Because environment is that invisible hand that shapes human behavior. It's the quote by James Clear that determines what we will end up doing. So what we can do, if environment is so crucial to us, so important to us, what we can do is we can consciously redesign our environment. How? By making all the dead food invisible, by making the dead packaged food invisible from our surroundings. See, friends, try to understand that if they are in your home, they can go to 3 places. They can end up being at 3 places. 1, they can end up in your stomach. 2, they can end up in your family's stomach. And 3rd, they can end up in a dustbin. And you have to decide where you want them to end. The choice is fully in your hands. Put it in your waist and not your waist. Throw out the namkeens, the bhujia, the khatta meetha, from chemicals, artificial flavors and nasty preservatives. Let's give our bodies a breather. Throw out the packets of wafers and chips, which are nothing but illusions of marketing companies' tricks. Throw out the biscuits which were sucked out of their life long, long ago. They do nothing but make you lazy and slow. Throw out the sodas, the colas, and each aerated drink. These snatch away your health in just an eye's blink. Throw out the chocolates that you've been addicted to. Hidden is a poison inside them, which none of us can immediately view. Throw out the 2-minute Maggi, the Kappa noodles. Say to it, an everlasting noodles. Last but not the least, throw out the real juice, which is everything but real, and the fruity, which has no fruit. If you want a highly energetic, pure, clean body, you have to eliminate the lies from the root. So throw it all out, and if you want, do it with a shout. And in your home, let the foods with life only sprout. Do you feel inspired to throw these packets, to throw this waste away from you, out of your house? Yes, totally. Some of you may think that, how can I throw this food away? How can I just get done with it? I have spent my money in order to purchase that packet of chips. I've spent my money. So much of dead food is present in my house. I agree to what all you all are sharing, but I've purchased it with my money. I'll eat this last batch and then I will never buy it again. This thought may be going on in many of your minds. Right now, my friends, you are charged up. But unless it's there in your environment, you believe it or not, You won't eat it right now in this week, in these 21 days. After 1 month, you'll grab that packet and you'll eat it. And once you get that taste, you'll forget this knowledge with time. This is the nature of our minds. And you taste one packet, you'll buy another packet, you'll buy another packet, and you will go back to the same habits that you had earlier. Right now, we're thinking that we're going to save 10 rupees, we're going to save 20 rupees, but what for? In the long run, saving these 10, 20, 30, 100,000 rupees is going to be very, very costly for all of you. So make a decision now to just throw it all out of your house. But with this, there is a practical problem also. This is okay for those who are staying alone, who have full command, full charge of the house. But I'm sure those of you who are living in families may have this going in your mind. What about my family? They will throw me out of the house if I throw the dead food out. वो मुझे बाहर फेंक देंगे. And plus those taunts. Every day you're learning something new. I don't know what's happening to my child. Those taunts and everything. Can you relate to this? Is this your story also? Are these thoughts going in your mind also? Exactly, yes, totally. How can I throw everyone's dead food out? They're going to throw me out. Yes. We understand you, and we have an alternative for this also. Don't worry. So for those of you who cannot throw the dead food out, this is what you have to do. If you can't throw them out, reduce their exposure. How? By creating a separate cabinet where you can put in all the packaged, all the dead. So what you have to do is, you have to pick up a cabinet in your kitchen or in your storeroom. The farther it is, the more distant it is for you, from you, it is better. The cornermost one will be better. Most difficult to reach would be better. But anyways, you can find a cabinet. For example, you found this cabinet in the screen. Now you have to empty out this cabinet and fill it with all the dead food, all the packaged food that's present in your house. Collect from everywhere, from your bedroom, your study room, your living room, your kitchen, everywhere. And put it in one single cabinet. All those who want to access can access from this cabinet and then put it back there. And then close the cabinet and put a label over it. Beware dead food inside, and stick it. Every time you pass through it, this sticker will remind you what's lying inside. These are all small reminders that help us sustain this path. All in all, be a designer of your environment and not a victim. You're living in a world that others have created for you. This is the world that we want to create for ourselves. So let's be designers and not be victims of our environment. It's time to announce the challenge for the day and do the challenge for the day to really see the change happening in your life. And for this, I would like to invite Subha. We have reached the last section of today's topic to announce the challenge for the day.
Hello everyone. So, how many of you are inspired to make this switch in your lives? Either to make a dead food cabinet or to throw it out completely. What are you going to do? Can you tell me in the chat? Okay, so today's challenge is very interesting, so don't go anywhere. But before that, I quickly want to share a little bit about a lot of answers coming in the chat box. I'm going to just pause it now. Thank you everyone for responding. So before I share with you the daily challenge, I want to share with you a little bit about how, about the questions that you all sent in. So as you know, we put up a new button on our dashboard called Send Us a Question. And many of you even sent us questions. We received about 500 questions each day in the last 2 days. So what we have done is, we have taken the most frequently asked questions and compiled them together on our FAQ page. So I want to just show you a quick demo of how this FAQ page is run. This is very important, everyone. Please listen and watch carefully. So we've added a new button to our dashboard, which is the FAQ page button. This is on our dashboard website, ultimatehealthchallenge.org, the same one that you use to log in every day. So when you click on the FAQ page, you will be redirected to this another page, and you will see whatever categories that we have already had sessions for, only those categories you will see here. So till now we've had sessions complete for day 1 and day 2. So you will see those. Now let's say you had a question from day 2, and that was, can I have milk after my early dinner? So let me type this question and see if a response comes. Can I have milk after early dinner? Because a lot of you had this question. So you see there is a very similar question with the essence is exactly the same. Can we have milk before sleeping, after dinner? So when I click on this, I will in one go get my answer. So this is the answer. Let's go back. I have another question. So again, I'll go to the search bar. My question is if kids can also eat early dinner, if it's okay for them. So I'll type, is eating early dinner okay for kids? So I'm seeing what questions come up, and voila, once again we have a question which is very similar to what I asked. Is having early dinner recommended for children? And when I click on it, I will be redirected to my answer. Here is the answer. Let me type another question. So let's say I come back late from office. Here you get your answer also. Sometimes you may not get answers from the same keywords you type. In those cases, type some different keywords. If the essence can remain the same, but type some different words. So that's our FAQ page, and we try to answer as many questions as possible, but we hope you understand we get about 500 questions a day, so it's not possible for us to answer all of them. Our team chooses the most commonly asked questions and answers those. So this button hope will be helpful for all of you. All right. Is this clear for everyone? The FAQ page? Okay, lovely. So just wanted to clarify a few points about this. Please expect a response only within 48 hours. So if you send us the question today, we'll try our best to answer it within 48 hours. Number 2, not all questions can be answered. We try our best to answer maximum questions. We hope you understand it's 15,000 people taking this challenge. So our intention is, of course, to answer maximum, but also very important, many of the questions you have asked in the Q&A sheet, in the Q&A button, a lot of them will be answered in the remaining days and will be answered beautifully in the remaining days. So please be a little patient also, because we have very detailed topics about food coming up. And some of you are asking where will we view the snacks booklet. So on the same page, ultimatehealthchallenge.org, the snacks booklet will also be uploaded. It's time finally for the challenge for the day, and here it goes. Are you ready? This is my favorite challenge of the Ultimate Health Challenge. Okay. Take a photo or video putting all the dead food from your kitchen either in the dustbin or in a clearly labeled dead food cabinet. Post on the group by 6 p.m. So that's your challenge for today, and I would like to see as many videos and photos as possible. Each one of you has to do the challenge. Remember, I keep reminding you this. Taking the session, absorbing the session, 40% benefit. Doing the challenge for the day, 100% benefit. And there's a reason we say this, everyone. This is not just to say it. We've observed this happen again and again in previous challenges. When people participate in the daily challenge, they gain much more. So take a screenshot, save it, remember it, do it before 6 p.m. because I will be waiting for your photos and videos. Also, the activity, the Raid the Pantry activity we did, immediately after the session, you can post on the Facebook group whatever ingredients you found, and you can write how many you found from the yellow list, how many from the red list, how many from the green list. But this, what you see on screen, is your main daily challenge. This you definitely have to do. This is a quick summary of where we are at in the Ultimate Health Challenge. Here are a few beautiful photos that were posted yesterday. Of course, many of you posted photos, but it energizes us to see your photos. Our first activity winner is Sonal Ji. The video will come back, but I'll continue. She posted photos of her daughter holding the ash guard. Our second winner is Reshma Ji. So this is a beautiful habit stack. She too involved her daughter in making the juice. Our third winner is Pooja Palesha Ji. She wrote a beautiful story on ash guard. Our fourth winner is Taruna Ji. She involved her mom making the juice with her. And our last winner is Rachna Ji. She made vibrant slides mentioning her habit stack along with all the different types of juices and benefits. I want to just remind you everyone that these activities that you do, please don't do them, the daily challenges, to win something. This is just your way of showing your participation to us and to the team. And remember that you have to focus on your effort and not the result. Sometimes we get too result oriented. We only do when we win, but that should not be our spirit. We're all here for the challenge. So remember to focus on your effort and not on the result. Time comes for our quote of the day. So here's the quote. If you eat living food, the same will quicken you. But if you kill your food, the dead food kills you also. For life comes only from life, and from death comes always death. The same gospel of peace. Signing off, Sattvic Movement, Day 4. Have a lovely day, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Now you know you can't sleep forever. Shake off that darkness, rise and greet the morning.
Wake up, sleeping soul.
Can you hear me? Hear me calling out. You know my calling Come on now, wake up. Wake up. Sleep.
Recording stopped.